Welcome to UK Business Show, UK's premier business show where we feature business thought leaders, high achievers, and industry experts. Today's episode is brought to you by World Outsourcing Solutions Limited, a company that specializes in helping executive business owners with virtual assistant services and business growth systems. Here's your host, UK Ketchadori.
Hi guys, welcome back to another very special episode, and I'm so thrilled that you can join us here today right at the beginning of our season. If you haven't been following up recently, we have a very special program right now, which is the 2021 Lifestyle Mastermind program that we are in the process of enrolling in. If you want to know more about that, head over to our social media or click the link below and you will be taken straight to where it is. I'm super excited about that. But let's come back to today's session because I'm joined on the show to talk about something that is very dear to my heart, very close to my heart, and that is the art of happiness. How can you be happy? 365 days a year. And if you lose your happiness, what can you do to get that joy back into your life? And to help us with that is my dear friend, Jacqueline Pirtle from the US. I know Jacqueline is from Switzerland, but currently is based in the US, Washington. Jacqueline, thank you again for joining us here on the show.
Thank you so much for having me, UK. I'm so excited for this.
It's going to be great. I know you've written a wonderful book, 365 Days of Happiness, and you want to dive into it and help people how they can do this. Now, before I give the introduction, maybe would you give us a very brief synopsis of how you got started on this journey of helping others to be happy?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So, concerning the book, 365 Days of Happiness that I've written is really based actually on who I am too. It's like I whatever I write, it's my heart is in it and it's who I am. And I'm a holistic practitioner helping people to live better lives. And it's on a consciousness level, on a mindful level, on just a deep inner level, and to create actually a really wonderful inner feeling that and the way you want to live life. So that's kind of all my work, my books, my podcasts, it's all based on that chunk of me helping people. And I've been helping people since a lot of years, many years, and from all, women, men, children, it doesn't really matter. People just find me. The perfect people find me in what they want. And so coming back to the book, I just in New Year's Eve 2016, I thought to myself, okay, what do I want to focus on the next year? Because I'm not so much into New Year's resolutions. I am more into always better myself. Awesome. Because I thrive to always show up as the best me that I can be. And with that, no, I'm not always jumping on a trampoline high and ho and laughing, but it's the best me, even in pain. How can I be the best me? How can I take this experience of pain, for instance, and kind of nourish myself to be the best me? Because even in that is beauty. And that's kind of my approach to everything. Even in sadness, nothing ever has to change. Happiness for me is not that something has to change or you can't be sad anymore or whatnot, or angry. No, being angry is an amazing, powerful energy. Well, how can you use that anger so you can show up as the best version of you? Nourishing yourself, and because you're taking care of yourself, that means you're also showing up into the world as the best person that can be. And that's kind of like that exchange, because we're all one. So that's what I did. 2017, every day I thought about, okay, happiness, what is it? How do I make it happen for me? How do I lift myself? I call it into a high for life frequency where I just feel good no matter what. And I started writing it, put it on a blog. People were just like, wow, I can't wait for tomorrow. I said, okay, I'll make a book out of it. And then at the end of the year, it was like, okay, where's the book? I'm like, oh yeah, I said, I'll make a book out of it. And that's then in 2018, March, the book came out. And it's just, It's a passage book, a day-to-day book. It starts at day one. So whenever you start day one, it's not a date, it's your day one. And you just carry through. You read a page best in the morning. You think a little about it, meditate, because once you read it, it already shifts something for you, because it's all energy, right? It's like when you read something, it shifts something in you. And when you consciously, mindfully take note of that, maybe write a little about it, journal, or meditate about it, and just sense that essence, that shift that just happened inside of you. And then you carry that through your day. And when you do that every single day, you know, you're stacking this up, right? So you find out every day a little bit about yourself, because these passages are about you, not about me. I'm not telling you to go buy something or go get a bubble bath. No, I'm explaining you what the energy of a bubble bath is, and how you then can take that into your new days. And so that's how the book came, because I look at life as it's an every moment kind of thing.
Right.
And every split second you have this opportunity to say, okay, how can I experience what's happening? Even an angry driver, how can I experience this happening, this experience? How can I shift this to nourish me so I can show up as the best me possible? And that's what the book is. You're stacking it. You know, you're never stuck. You always move forward. And every split second you have a chance to shift to feeling high for life.
Awesome. For those listening and they want to understand more as to what you really mean by happiness, because it probably means anything to anybody, but in your experience working with several hundreds of people and in your study of this whole subject, how would you define this?
Yeah, to me, you are happiness. And happiness is you, and you're never separate. You're never separate. It's a package deal. Happiness is for everyone. It's a state of well-feeling. Even in sadness, you know, you can feel really, really well. And so you are happiness, and happiness is you. And you guys are this amazing package deal that are always walking together. And you always have the opportunity to tune into a well-feeling state of yourself, and then that makes you feel lifted. And that to me is happiness. Happiness is that mother, I don't know, it's like that mother tent, mother house of all these well feelings. And as an example, so if you have a sad day or a sad moment, you know, so okay, you're sad. Well, sometimes sadness feels really, really amazing. It's this cozy, this really rich, wonderful, cleansing feeling. And as long as it feels good, stay in it and really kind of, you know, really dig into it and say, ooh, this feels so good. Cry and feel sad and whatever, you know, light a candle in that sadness and celebrate that. And there's always that moment where suddenly it doesn't feel good anymore. And to catch that moment and then say, oh, that does not feel so good anymore. What could feel better? That's the same with being angry. You know, I don't want anybody to not or never be angry anymore. It's like, you know, angry is like this really strong warrior energy that everyone has. Anybody that ever says, I'm not powerful, I always say, well, can you get angry? And they say, yeah, of course, I do that all the time. I said, well, that's called power. It's how you shift it. So when you're angry, don't let it out on anybody, but it sometimes feels really good. It's this rising energy inside of you. And then there comes the moment when suddenly it doesn't feel good anymore. And then you shift again. That's the same when you're super happy on a trampoline. You wouldn't jump all day long, 24 hours a day for a whole year. At some point, it doesn't feel good anymore. Then change again. And to me, happiness, the art of happiness, the art of living a happy life and a beautiful life is really to constantly, consciously and mindfully be very connected and care how you feel and shift. You know, you constantly can shift. And to me, that is happiness. And everyone has that. That means that you are happiness and happiness is you, no matter what it is, no matter what's happening out there. It's an essence, it's an energy, it's a choice, it's a possibility, it's a, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's to me, happiness is just, it's always possible. It's like a good friend. Even the first passage in the book, real quick, I write about, you know, to create a relationship with the happiness. Day one, The passage of day one is to create a relationship with your happiness and to really form a commitment that kind of way.
How do you do that? Create a relationship with happiness?
Well, yeah, I know, right? I know it's to treat it as an essence that is part of you, that's already inside of you, and to invite it to be inside of you. And in the book, I kind of write it a little bit in the poetry style too. It's like you sit down with a cup of tea by the window, you take a moment, you light a candle, and then you chit chat with your happiness. You invite it to come up and to be staying, and you commit to it, and you talk. Like in the book, I write about, check in 3 times a day in the morning. Hey, happiness, how are you? What are we going to create today? Make a list of the happy things that you can create together. Then over lunchtime, check in again. Oh, we lost each other because I got frustrated, but we found each other again. And then at night, relax, put your feet up and say, ooh, happy. We did good together and we're enjoying this. So to create, instead of just looking at happiness, something that's outside of you or something that you create with things, which yes, we do. I like things too. However, it's a state. It's a realization that you are happiness and happiness is you. And it's unique to you, to every single split second, and to really shift with that. But it's a realization. It really is that it's an essence that is you, and to hang out with your happiness in order to be happy. I just had a conversation yesterday with a very dear person of mine, a friend of mine, and I said, in order to be happy, it takes time.
Right.
And I'm not saying you take 7 hours a day. No, it takes little check-in moments here and there. It takes a second, to just sit down and say, oh, that bird is singing, or the sky is beautiful, or I feel really good inside, or ooh, I have a head. Means it's a wonderful gift and sign that I'm not doing something that is fitting for me, that I'm not drinking enough, and I'm resting, and that's called happiness. To shift again into a well-feeling nature, it takes time to slow down a little bit and make a commitment to check in with yourself.
Yeah.
Because when you create it from only the outside, it's very, it's not very long lasting, but we want to have happiness that sticks, and that's created in the inside.
Yeah. One of the interesting things you mentioned there is being conscious and be intentional with having that happiness in you. To me, this is a new way of thinking, but I can see at some level that I resonate with the fact that you have to constantly check in, make sure that you are in this state of well-being. What can you actually do to nurture this state of well-being?
Well, first of all, to realize to not beat yourself up when you're not feeling so well, because it's natural. Everyone has that. And to then see that even that, when it's a time that you don't feel so good, it's a gift, because it's almost like a street sign that says, hey, you are on a path that is not very fitting for you, and then you say, oh, thank you very much. That's amazing. So what will be fitting for me? So to take on a little bit of lightness about it, to take on a playfulness about it, and to be just very creative about it. And there is no one way or the other. There's no right or wrong. There's only you and your life, you and your path, you and your journey, and you and trying to the most possible way to stay fitting to yourself. So how do you make it long lasting is to really care about how you feel.
Wow.
Yes, to be selfish and say, I care how I feel. I'm going to make my priority every single day that I feel good. You have all these lists and all that stuff that needs to get done, and these physical life scenarios, and that's wonderful. You're here for physical life. However, to make a priority even higher than what you got to do in physical life matter, to realize that you are an energetic being. You're a whole being. Your body, your soul, your mind, you're one with everything, consciousness. And to really say, okay, my highest priority from now on is I care how I feel.
Wow.
And from that well state, because it's sticking and long lasting, because sometimes you feel sad, but it feels good, stick with it. Sometimes you feel angry, it feels good, stick with it. And then just kind of shift to really just make sure that you care how you feel. And then moving forward from there, you will master your life with the ease, with the playfulness, with a smile. And then it doesn't matter. So, okay, there comes something towards you in life, and it's, whatever circumstance or a person or a situation that's not so fitting, you can say, oh, I'm just going to play it like water. I'm just going to flow right around it or over it or under it, because you know what? I'm happiness. Happiness is me, and I can go with my essence wherever I want to kind of realize that that's actually who you really are.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, and you know what?
Yeah.
It's not something that you necessarily create. It's something who you are. It's what you are. You're an essence of well-feeling when you are really aligned with who you are.
Amazing.
Does that make sense?
It certainly does. It reminds me of a conversation I had with somebody on the show. They are saying that, peace is your natural state of being. Joy is your natural state of being. Anything else, you're just going against who you really are, your natural state of being. And that is very enlightening.
I agree with that, yeah.
For those of us, perhaps, who are beginning to look at this the new way, perhaps, like for example, I'm looking at it completely new. Where should I start? What would be the best way of me to get started and then nurture that moving forward?
Yes, I love that question. Where do you start? Wherever you're at.
Right.
A lot of times we think like, okay, I'm going to start this, but this and that has to happen first. I got to clean the house first. I got to take care of the kids first. I gotta lose some pounds first. I got to get fit first. I got to have time to go for a walk first. I have to do, in order to do this has to be first. And I say, that is not correct. It's not. It's made up. Start exactly where you are right now. Right now, start where you are. And, you can start with closing your eyes and just breathing and just sensing your breath, because that is happiness. It makes it possible that you are alive. Then you could open the window, stick your face out into the sun or the wind or the rain or whatever it is, and say, oh my gosh, I love it, and sense the essence of the wind, how moving and shifting and clearing it is, the rain, how clarity can come in, the sun, like how warming and wonderful nurturing it is. Whatever comes to your mind, you just more consciously take it in. Or you can go grab a piece of yummy chocolate right now, put it in your mouth, close your eyes, and become one with that chocolate and sense the energy of that chocolate. And so that's what I'm saying. You can start right now. You can go clean your toilet right now. If that's what you have to do before you can be happy, go clean the toilet. And while you're cleaning, there's a passage in the book about that. While you're cleaning the toilet, realize the cleansing, because when you clean the toilet and you're conscious about that cleansing, you're cleaning your inner being, your mind, everything too. And then when the toilet is clean, just say, wow, I have this amazing cleaning toilet. And when you sit down, it's this refreshing feeling to sit on a clean toilet. And I'm bringing this up because that is how you can start right now. It doesn't matter. There's no difference when you dress up and you go to a ball dancing with your prince or princess or whatever, and you go and eat wonderful food and have champagne, or you clean a toilet. It's how you consciously perceive it. And the energetic essence that everything has, when you consciously and mindfully kind of sense that and then allow it to be one with that, that is really... that is, to me, that is like, the gold mine right there, because that means nothing ever has to change for you anymore. It doesn't matter.
Wow. So you're operating from within, and you are just realizing who you are and let that be. I like that thought.
Yeah.
For those perhaps who are struggling with that, or maybe have practiced before, but they lost their way, how can they get back to this way of living, living from within, living from that essence of well-being, of appreciating life. What would be your pointers?
Yeah, there's a couple like tricks to do that. I mean, it always goes with, to become aware that it's all already inside of you. That's a given, right? And then it's a commitment to I'm gonna commit. Like my newest book, Life is Beautiful, actually has the 6 steps to live a beautiful life, which is also a happy life. And it talks about these very simple steps. You have to become aware of it. You have to commit, right? I mean, without saying I'm going to commit to go downstairs in my kitchen and make cookies now, there is nothing happening. You have to commit and say, okay, I'm going to commit to really care how I feel and to make myself and how I feel and my essence a priority. And then you have to practice. You when you practice, you create then a passion. And when lay into that passion, whatnot, you become addicted, right? It's that step-by-step thing that you can do that for a beautiful life, for a peaceful life, for a happy life, even for making dinner tonight. It's like it's a process to really, and to playfully, realize that it's a process, and where I am, it's perfect because I'm supposed to be here right now to go to the next spot. And then, of course, so that's the step thing is really easy. I found for people that don't know where to start, because I say start where you are, and I'm like, well, Jacqueline, seriously, but when you have a step-by-step process that I laid out in my newest book, it's really simple because you just follow the step. And while you follow the step without even thinking, you're starting to grow this way of living for you. And then another real good tip is to set an alarm. Why don't you set a 1 hour every hour or 3 times a day, a happiness alarm? And when the alarm goes off, you can even have a fun picture or whatnot that makes you laugh or feel good, or music or anything. But then you just stop whatever you're doing, if it's safe, of course. And then you just you give yourself 1 minute. 1 minute. And then you just close your eyes and say, how am I feeling? And what could I do different to feel better? How could I shift? And that kind of stuff. That only 3 times a day or once an hour, that check-in will change everything for you, because you're starting to train yourself to be conscious about yourself and make yourself a priority, and that is certainly good. And then the other thing is like, just make sure that in the morning when you open your eyes, that you really catch those few seconds, few minutes in the beginning with something positive. Good music, a good podcast, my book next to your bed, or anything really. Or even make yourself, a nice drink that you like to drink in the evening, put it next to your bed, and then drink that. And then you taste this honey and you're like, oh, my day is so sweet already. To shift yourself, do it again at lunch, and also before you go to bed, to really kind of prepare, be grateful for what was. Don't talk about what did not make you happy. Stay with what made you want to hug the whole world during your new day that you just had, and then kind of, say thank you for it and feel into it. And then how do you want tomorrow to be? What do you want tomorrow? To kind of plan ahead. So there's like little tricks that you can hold yourself to, and then you don't really have to think, oh, how do I get there? So just go with steps, and give yourself a little bit of a break. You're fine. You're perfect. You're like, even if you have a really sad, hard day, that just made sure that you learned how you don't want to feel tomorrow, and that's okay. Oh, and another thing is go follow the children. I'm telling you, if you don't know how to be happy, either you have your own kids, or you say, okay, I'm gonna babysit my friends' kids today. So you hang out with children, or go, walk around by a playground or whatnot. Watch children, and it's not just watch with your eyes and say, oh, great, they're playing. No, it's like watch these kids and sense it, like feel it, become a kid again and smile, lift your lips. That does magic for you. When you lift your lips, you immediately shift into another frequency. You know, when you go like this or that, you can even try. There's a passage in the book too. There's all these tiny little things that you can do. And it's just when you're conscious and mindful about it, you will shift into a happy state. There is no other way.
Wow, amazing, amazing. I love, the happy hour trigger. I use the same concept for gratitude. Every day at 2:35, for my listeners, they know about this. My alarm goes off, and I take a moment and think of what is going so well right now. What can I be grateful for right now? Maybe this conversation. And it's the same concept of taking a moment and be happy. To be reminded to be happy about that. So this is incredible, absolutely incredible.
Can I add something on?
Sure.
When you just said that, it just triggered stuff in me. And I tell you what, it's about your inner world. However, it's about using, being in this physical life with all the technology, the calendars, these little, examples, like you said, alarms, or when you eat really yummy food or whatnot. It's about using these life happenings and opportunities to really feed and nourish your inner you. It's all inside of you, and you create the outer world that way. However, we're here to kind of use these little helpers out there and whatnot to really kind of nourish your inner you, because whatever makes you feel really, really good, that's the closest being you that you can actually be, because it feels really, really wonderful. If it's delicious food, that is you. If it's a hug and a kiss, that is you. If it's a wonderful movie, that's you. If you listen to wonderful music or look at the sky and you go like, whoa, this is amazing, that is the closest you can be with you, because you are pure positive energy, and everything that it feels good nourishes your inner you, and you're on your path of being you. Very true to you.
This is amazing. I can see how, practicing these very few things, you can have the whole year of happiness. And
I think so too, yeah.
Incredible. As we come towards the end of our time together, Jacqueline, here, I know there will be people who wants to carry on learning with you. Where can they find you?
Yeah, you can find me. I have a website. It's called freakyhealer.com. And I know it's a really funky name. And I have this name since such a long time. And it stuck, and that's it. So all my social media is also freakyhealer.com. You can subscribe to my news and newsletter, and all my books you can find on Amazon. And so if anything, and my podcast, it's called The Daily Freak for Freaky Healer. And that's like less than 10 minutes every episode, Monday through Friday, where you can listen in, and it's an episode to really help you shift into a high for life frequency, and on you go into your new day.
Amazing.
And that's placed on all major platforms.
That's awesome. That's absolutely amazing. Final thoughts, Jacqueline. If you were to do all over this, journey, what would be the one thing that you would have believed quickly about happiness to speed your journey in discovering the true nature of happiness, how you can be happy anytime, anywhere, regardless of what is happening around you? What would that be?
That one thing that speeds it up for me, is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Well, it's all right. It's about realizing, and that's for me too. It's always over and over again. It's about realizing that I have it all in me.
Wow.
And that if anything happens in my life and I look at it and think like, oh, I don't like that or something, that it's really about my perception. And it's my power. So it's my perception, how I see it. It's my power to change it. And it's really about then listening to my inner me to say, okay, I want to go in a different direction here, because this is obviously not feeling well, which means it's not fitting for me. And that when I do that, kind of thought process, what it does for me is I can step out of any situation happening, people, whatnot, that I don't really like or it's not feeling well. I can step out of it and say, okay, you know what? That is their situation. It has nothing to do with me. And for me, what can I get out of this in the best way possible to nourish myself with the beauty and graciousness that is in this situation? Because there's always beauty and graciousness in everything. Even in the darkest moments, I've been there, done that too. In my book, What It Means to Be a Woman, I speak a little bit more about my story because it's about women, and usually I'm a rather private person, but in that book you can hear and see and listen and read that, yeah, I had all the been there, done that. However, it's like how even the darkest moment has wonderful beauty and graciousness in that situation, because that's called life. That's like physical life is like that. It's these different things that we get to experience. And the only way that I can look at it that way is when I say I have it all in me, I'm in charge, I step myself out of the situation, I let everyone else in that situation be as they are, because they're, I'm leaving everyone their situation, and then how can I step out of it and take the most gracious and beautiful thing out of it, so I nourish who I am and why I'm here, because I want to expand, I want to calibrate while I'm here. And I can only do that if I see the beauty and the gifts and the graciousness in every situation, in every person, no matter, because it doesn't matter.
Wow. Absolutely love this. And we would love to have you on another episode for sure, Jacqueline, because what you're sharing with us is a mindset shift. And I can see how once you begin to put all this in practice, you can truly live from within and enjoy life and experience happiness, unbounded happiness, where you live on purpose, achieve what you want to achieve. Because when you're in a state of happiness, you and I know, your mind works differently. It opens up, and you can achieve a lot of things in life, especially for business owners listening today.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, your life, your health, your success, your journey, everything changes. It really does. Even your body, and I was like, everything changes.
Amazing. Well, I would like to thank you, Jacqueline, for being on the show here today, and certainly would love to wish you the very best in your next endeavor, and maybe have you back on the show sometime soon.
Thank you so much for having me. I'd love to come back, yes, and Happy New Year. And I wish you and your listeners, your fans, and all the best, and ever and ever, forever and ever. Thank you so much.
You're wonderful. There you have it, guys. If you want to know how to stay happy despite what is going on, be it troubles or whatever is going on, you have the tools today that you can use in your life and be happy and inspire others to do that. Can you imagine what life will be like when we all together stay in the state of happiness, and what will our world look like? There you have it. If you've got any questions, there will be a link below this conversation where you can find more information as to how you can get in touch with Jacqueline. And again, we've got a mastermind going on for you to join if you want to learn how to live a life on purpose through our lifestyle mastermind program. It's a year-long mastermind program, and we've got some amazing guests coming in to help us structure our lives and implement those ideal standards that we want to implement. It's going to be great, and would love to have you on that journey together with me. With that said, have a great day, and I wish you the very best of life. Goodbye for now.
Thank you for listening to UKAI Business Show. We will be back to bring you more episodes with success stories and advice straight from the experts. Want more? Check out www.ukaibusinessshow.com. Get your free trial of our virtual assistant service today. Just visit www.worldoutsourcingsolutions.com. Quote WOS18 or send us an email at support@worldoutsourcingsolutions.com.